Hi, welcome to Weekend Refresh. So it comes as not much of a surprise this week that Mortal Kombat X was announced, because after all, Mortal Kombat creator Ed Boon has been teasing the game for a whole month on Twitter anyway. We did get our first look at a CG trailer of what to expect for what they're calling Mortal Kombat X. The takeaway is, of course, there's Sub-Zero and Scorpion in the game, and it seems that they're incorporating some elements from Injustice Gods Among Us, like the interactable stage items, which are called interactables. Yeah, that's right. It's going to be shown in full playable format E3 next week. Expect some demos coming up. Ed Boon has confirmed that that demo will have 2 brand new characters in it. And interestingly enough, they're putting in multiple variations of characters. So we'll see if it's like the last Mortal Kombat game where you could play like human Cyrax or robot Cyrax, or if it's more like one of the older 3D Mortal Kombats. I think it was Deception or whatever, where you could actually switch between different fighting styles in the middle of a match. So we'll just have to wait and see next week. The game was out quite a while ago by Kiefer Sutherland, who confirmed he did voice work for the game, and that leads us into our next story. So Kiefer Sutherland is the voice of Solid Snake currently for the next gen, current gen, actually last and current gen Metal Gear Solid games. But some fans are looking to remake the original Metal Gear that we remember from NES, as well as some other systems that actually came out on before then. They're doing it with a 3D engine provided by Valve, the engine that is used to run Alien Swarm. Unlike most fan-made games, they actually have official permission from Konami to make this remake, just on the condition that they don't sell it. So as long as they release it for free, Konami's got no problem with it. And maybe a whole new generation of people that never experienced the original Metal Gear games will get a chance to finally play them. And now that I've got this crap off my lip that was on that whole first segment, let me tell you about the next thing. So we have a story up this week about Hunt, Horrors of the Gilded Age, which is a new title from Crytek USA. And I know you're wondering, Crytek has a USA studio? Well, this all leads back to last year with THQ's bankruptcy and them buying out certain studios left over and certain properties. I don't think Hunt was actually one of the games that Crytek bought, but the studio, which consists of like former members that did Darksiders and other THQ games, are working on this, and it looks suspiciously like Left 4 Dead, but set in a post-Civil War Deep South. So there is a possibility there might be a zombie Abe Lincoln boss, so we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But it is interesting that unlike Left 4 Dead, they're going with a more roguelike approach with procedurally generated enemies and bosses. But they're also going to be going up against Evolve this year, which is being made by the original creators of Left 4 Dead. So, maybe that's why they've announced it this early before E3, not to get lost in the noise. Because Crytek also announced another one of their acquisitions from THQ this week, Homeworld 2, or no, sorry, not Homeworld, Homefront 2, the games where Korea is invading North America and you're like a rebel. The specific one is Homefront The Revolution, where it just basically looks like Crysis with a different skin on it, and that one's being made by another Crytek studio, which essentially is the studio that used to be Free Radical, which Free Radical, if you don't know those guys, were originally the GoldenEye team from Rare. So even though they've released some not so good games since their Rare days, I still have faith that both these games look pretty interesting, and we should be seeing some gameplay from both at E3 next week. And along with Mortal Kombat at E3 next week, WB Games will also be showing off Batman Arkham Knight, specifically some Batmobile gameplay, which reports have said that there's some sort of hover mode for the Batmobile that sort of comes up with a solution to how to navigate these narrow streets in the Batmobile, basically allowing you to drive and strafe sideways, which seems like kind of a lazy solution, but hey, at least it's a solution. Also with this Batmobile announcement trailer, at the end there was a slight little notice that, hey, by the way, you won't be playing this game until 2015, so yeah, the game got delayed from its intended October 2014 release date, but of course they're still telling you, make sure you pre-order now to get your Harley Quinn DLC. But hey, if Rocksteady needs some more time to polish the game, which reports were saying it was suffering from some pretty major frame rate issues in early builds anyway, hey, make the game good and you know, end the Arkham series on a high note, even though we all know this probably won't be the last one. And by the way, my prediction for Arkham Knight, who the identity of the Arkham Knight is, I'm going to go on record now and say it's Damian Wayne. So I'll replay this video next year to see if I'm right or wrong, because I like to make predictions, so much so that I made a huge prediction article for E3 that's up on the site this week. I've already sort of changed my opinion on a few things since I wrote that article. I went back and thought about some things. Probably Valve isn't going to show Left 4 Dead 3 because Valve typically doesn't show games at E3. And EA probably is going to be showing Mass Effect 4. It seems to be pretty far along in development. And it's known that the Mass Effect 4 producer is going to be attending E3, so but it seems like that might be a little conflict with Star Wars, you know, EA's sort of original sci-fi property with, you know, the mother of all sci-fi properties. So I could be right, I could be wrong, but if you want to read some predictions and at least get a taste of some things that pretty sure will happen next week, check out the article. And after you've checked out what to expect to be announced at E3 next week, check out the game release schedule. There's a few interesting games this month. You better enjoy them now, because starting next month we'll be going into the official summer game drought. So enjoy these last few refreshing swallows of gameplay while you can. And if you're part of our target audience, there was probably at least one gameplay clip that was just shown to you that excited you a little bit. And probably if you were given a choice of having your own $26,000 home arcade or having a fiance, you might have picked choice number one. And there is a story up this week about a man in New York that did just that. He had moved into his fiance's apartment, but kept his own apartment to himself as his own personal little arcade, complete with Street Fighter 2 and punch-out machines. And it doesn't come as much as a surprise that not much later his fiance left him, but he's still got his own pretty sweet setup and his own Ninja Turtles bed, so who needs girls anyway? And on a serious note, we have some more news this week about net neutrality and the heinous actions on the part of many ISPs where they're trying to take away your internet by creating internet fast lanes and internet slow lanes. And they're so underhanded that they're actually even hiring their own fake people to lobby for the creation of these lanes. And it's just pretty shitty behavior all around. I can't believe that these corporations are so evil, so underhanded. It's just mind-boggling how bad this is getting. You'll never be able to watch YouTube videos again. Twitch is going to get totally fucked. I mean, in online gaming, can you imagine what that's going to be like when you're on these internet slow lanes and you're screwed up with lag and you're trying to do an FADC combo and it doesn't cancel right, and then somebody's just gonna mash SPD anytime you're trying to do a link? It's unbelievable how blatantly stupid this all is. So make sure you visit the site in the article to find out all the information you need to fight this terrible, terrible fight we're all going into. And as we head into E3, we all know the main purpose of this show is for companies to win the hearts of consumers. And what better way than to salute the soldiers. And Sony is doing just that. Actually starting on Monday, around the time of their press conference, they'll also be in Fort Riley in Kansas, throwing a free concert and showing off some of their new stuff. This is also in line with their movie theater events where they were giving away free movie tickets where you can watch a live stream of Sony's press conference in a movie theater and then get some exclusive looks at some other stuff afterwards. So Sony seems to be, quite serious about holding on to their lead with this E3, and that leads us into next week. So I will be seeing you guys next week, but it's going to be a double-sized weekend refresh with all the great E3 news we'll be having. The website will be a lot more active, that website being gamersunite.com, where you can find all your latest gaming news, previews, and LAN events in your local area. So I will probably be very sleep deprived by next week, and we'll have some awesome announcements, especially if Tekken Cross Street Fighter or a Ultra Street Fighter 4 for PlayStation 4, which we all know is coming because they just released a fight stick for that, is announced. And if Darkstalkers 4 is announced, I might actually die and not be here next week anyway. So either way, I'll see you guys next week.